Good morning, family. This is Aunt Beth. Welcome to my lamppost. So this is a bit of an unusual one. I want to talk to you about a dream that I have had that I feel that it's okay to share. And I'm recording this on June 25th and posting it for July 3rd. I think today's the 25th. Maybe it's the 26th. Anyway. And I believe it has to do with the end time church. So I'm going to summarize what I believe the Lord was telling me, and then I'll go into a little bit of the description. And if you have any other comments or insights that I may have missed, please post them below so we can all sort of have a joint discussion about this. But I was seated in a very large auditorium church with very comfortable seats. I was up in the third balcony, I guess, sort of on the periphery. There was an open space to my right, so I could get out. I guess you could say I was on the aisle. And that's not normal for me when I go to church because I like to be right in the middle of the mix, but I was seated way back with a bird's eye view, so to speak. Interesting. And a woman came and sat next to me, very affluent, but just lovely, humble. Is one of those people when you sit next to him, you think, oh, she could be my best friend. I feel like I've known her my whole life. But I was aware of that she knew other people that I knew that are middle class to wealthy and very comfortable and sort of satisfied with where they are. And she was pregnant. And we got to talking. And no one was throwing her a baby shower. So I said, I would love to throw you a baby shower. And we talked about different venues. And timing. Now this is where it's weird because she told me she was 3.5 months pregnant. And in my mind, in the dream, I was absolutely convinced that pregnancies were 7 months. Not 9 months, 7 months. But I also knew that she was going to give birth. That meant she was going to give birth sometime in September. So the math in this world biologically works out. But anyway. And so the baby shower was like for August. Now the purpose of baby showers is to help the mom prepare and give her some provisions for the baby, as well as welcome the baby and celebrate the birth, impending birth. And I don't know, I guess all of her friends thought, well, she has enough money, she doesn't need a shower. But that's not the point, okay? You know? Anyway, in my opinion. So there's a subtext going on here about the impending birth of the end time church that I want you to catch. So the comfortable auditorium church was aware of the impending birth, but they weren't doing anything to help provide or welcome or celebrate. So we discussed a couple venues. one, a country club. I don't belong to a country club, but that tells you the level of affluence that we're dealing with here. But we decided it was too expensive, and it would be limiting as far as who could attend. Then I thought about my home. Well, I don't have that big of a house, and we decided it was too small and a little too formal because I was thinking tables. Then we settled on a picnic. Oh my gosh, such joy that just rushed through me, and I had this flash vision within a dream of old people and young people and babies giggling and squealing and happiness, and husbands and wives. It wasn't limited to just women, husbands and wives, and just happy times on a picnic. So we settled on a picnic. And I left after giving her my email and my text, and I said, text me a list of the people that you would like to invite. And she looked a little disconcerted at that, but I'm not going to guess who her friends are. And I left. And then the dream moved into something personal. Okay. So when I woke up this morning, I've just been processing, and I think here are a few of the things. The auditorium church, the comfortable, don't rock my boat, I got everything the way I want it, everything's in control. They were aware of the impending birth, but they weren't really doing anything to celebrate it, welcome it, or provide for it. The venue choice, open to everybody, out in the open, literally, and everybody's welcome, and just filled with such joy. And the timing. When I got up, I checked my calendar, and mid-September is Rosh Hashanah. So I don't know if it's this year or next year, but Rosh Hashanah, festival of Feast of Trumpets. I don't know. The first trumpet's going to sound in Rosh Hashanah. I don't know. I just thought the timing was interesting. So I want to talk to you about how the organized religious system in the past welcomed Jesus' birth, but also ministry. Because there's a birth and there's a ministry, separated by a period of time to mature. And I think God's going to do it the same way this time. At the birth, when he came physically, the organized church was a tool, worked with the government to try and kill off the birth, kill off the baby. Okay. The outsiders knew, announced, celebrated, brought gifts, and there was some collateral damage. They were murdered. Okay. When Jesus' ministry came the first time, the religious system, first of all, they tried to control and maintain their system. It was all about money and power. There was no celebration on their part for the people that were set free, that were healed, that were raised from the dead, that were delivered, that were bent over and crippled, and they just got huffy that he did it on a Sunday or Sabbath, instead of any other day of the week. They valued system and process and doing it their way and control more than they valued the people. I think the same thing is going to happen this time around. the organized auditorium church, to me, cynically, is all about maintaining their system, their control and money. Okay. And God's looking for a different venue. He's looking for everything out in the open, where everything's on level ground. We're all on the same ground, and just celebrating in joy. I didn't see any gifts in the flash vision of the picnic baby shower. But I did see joy. It just flooded my heart. And in my mind, somehow I knew it was more like a potluck picnic. Everybody brought what they had, everybody shared, and we were just celebrating the impending arrival. So I hope that's true of us. When things starts going crazy, just don't be a tool and trying to maintain a system that is definitely ending. I hope that encourages you. Have a fabulous day. All God's best.